The streets were unusually still that evening, wrapped in a hushed silence as the city basked under the warm, golden glow of the streetlights. A peaceful calm hung in the air, interrupted only by the occasional hum of distant traffic. Special Agent Vanessa Carter, the formidable FBI chief, had just departed from a high-stakes security briefing at a classified government facility. She relished moments like these. The drive home offered her a rare escape from the chaos of her demanding career. Whenever possible, she preferred to be behind the wheel herself. Years spent navigating the complexities of law enforcement had taught her to appreciate the solitude that came with the open road. Dressed in a neat yet comfortable business-casual outfit, with her official badge securely tucked away in her handbag, Vanessa was focused on reaching home when something caught her attention. Flashing red and blue lights suddenly reflected in her rear-view mirror. Her heart sank slightly, though she remained composed. With a quiet sigh, she signaled and pulled over to the side of the road. What could be the issue? She had been driving well within the speed limit, obeying every traffic law. A white police officer emerged from the squad car behind her. His name tag read Officer Greg Thompson. Adjusting his belt, he approached her vehicle with an air of authority, his expression unreadable but firm, bordering on aggressive. He rapped his knuckles against the glass, signaling for her to lower the window. Vanessa kept her hands visible on the steering wheel as she rolled it down, her demeanor calm but assertive. "Good evening, officer." "Is there a problem?" she asked, her voice steady yet firm. Thompson barely acknowledged her question. His eyes scanned her face, his gaze narrowing slightly. "License and registration," he demanded curtly, disregarding her inquiry altogether. Vanessa arched an eyebrow, but remained composed. "May I ask why I am being stopped?" she questioned, her tone even. A smirk ghosted across Thompson's lips as he leaned slightly closer. "You match the description of someone we're looking for," he stated vaguely. Vanessa inhaled slowly, mentally bracing herself. She had heard those words before. "And what description would that be?" she probed, her voice unwavering. Thompson ignored her once more, his stance shifting slightly. "Step out of the vehicle." Vanessa remained seated, her fingers tightening subtly around the steering wheel. "Officer, unless you have a legitimate reason for stopping me, I have the right to know why you're asking me to exit my car." Thompson's patience thinned visibly. His hand hovered dangerously close to his holster. "I said, step out of the car," he repeated, this time his voice edged with irritation, as if he was preparing to escalate the situation further. Vanessa clenched her jaw. She knew the law, knew her rights. But she also understood all too well how quickly encounters like this could spiral into something worse. With measured restraint, she gave a slow nod before reaching for her purse and stepping out. The moment her feet hit the pavement, Thompson seized her arm with a grip far tighter than necessary. "What are you doing in this neighborhood?" he demanded, his voice laced with suspicion. Vanessa met his gaze, suppressing the frustration bubbling beneath the surface. "I work in the city, officer." "I was on my way home," she responded evenly. Thompson let out a scoff. "Yeah? Doing what? You don't look like you belong around here." Vanessa took a deliberate breath, willing herself to remain composed. "Officer, I strongly advise you to reconsider your actions right now," she stated, her voice measured and calm despite the tension in the air. Thompson let out a short, derisive laugh. "Oh yeah? And why is that?" Without breaking eye contact, Vanessa reached into her bag and retrieved a sleek black leather holder. In one swift motion, she flipped it open, revealing a gleaming badge with bold, unmistakable lettering. Federal Bureau of Investigation, Chief of Operations. Thompson's smirk disappeared in an instant. His eyes darted between her badge and her unshaken expression, the realization hitting him like a freight train. His posture stiffened, his face visibly paling. "You're the—" his voice faltered. "Yes," Vanessa confirmed, her voice cool and unwavering. "I run the FBI. And you just unlawfully detained me without cause, used excessive force, and profiled me based purely on the color of my skin." Thompson's hands trembled slightly. "Ma'am, I didn't realize." "You didn't ask," Vanessa cut him off, her tone sharp. You assumed. The tension in the air was thick when another patrol car pulled up. The moment it stopped, two officers stepped out cautiously. One of them, Sergeant Davis, immediately recognized Vanessa. His eyes widened as he hurried over. Chief Carter, is everything all right? Davis asked, his voice tinged with concern. Vanessa folded her arms across her chest. Not exactly. Your officer here decided to harass and detain me without just cause. I'd really love to know if this is standard protocol for your department. Davis's face darkened as he turned to Thompson. You pulled over the FBI chief? His voice was incredulous, laced with barely contained fury. Thompson stammered. I didn't know. Vanessa scoffed. That's exactly the issue. You never took the time to find out. You saw a black woman driving a nice car and immediately decided I didn't belong. Davis clenched his jaw before turning to Thompson. Hand over your badge and your weapon. You're suspended, effective immediately. Thompson visibly blanched. Wait, sir, please. Davis's tone dropped to an icy finality.
Now.
Thompson hesitated only a second longer before reluctantly unbuckling his belt. He placed his firearm and badge in Davis's outstretched hand, his face drained of color as the reality of his mistake set in. He cast a final glance at Vanessa, his career crumbling before his eyes. Vanessa exhaled, then turned to Davis. I expect a full report on how your department intends to address issues like this. Yes, ma'am, Davis said quickly. And I deeply apologize for what happened. Vanessa nodded, her expression unreadable. Without another word, she turned, stepping back into her car. Just before closing the door, she glanced at Thompson one last time. Next time, think before you act. You never know who you're dealing with. With that, she started the engine and pulled away, leaving behind an officer who had just learned the hardest lesson of his life.